Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone who is joining us online. We have today the opportunity to welcome you to the webinar that we are organizing from Zabara Innovation, a webinar that is focused in a very interesting topic for us, that is how to unlock European Research Council and European Innovation Council Pathfinder funding to find the perfect fit for your idea. It's already the time. It's already 12 hours. So as we have a packed schedule, we would like to start on time. So let's get into it. Well, first of all, before starting with the agenda for today, just some basic instructions for everyone who is with us today. The attendees will have their sound and camera turned off. Doubts and questions, we invite you to ask from the very beginning, already from this moment, to put your doubts and questions along the webinar through the menu that you have that you should have on your right, and we will try to answer all of them at the end. Of course, if we don't have, due to time constraints, if we don't have the opportunity to answer all these questions, we will send later by email the answers to these doubts to the participants. The webinar will be also recorded, and we will send to all the attendees the presentation and the recording later on, so don't worry about that. And before we enter into the subject, also let me start by presenting the set of speakers that we have today. I will start by myself. My name is Germán Zango. I am part of Zabara Innovation European Business Unit, and I'm also the Science and Education Knowledge Area Leader. And today with me, as part of Zabara Innovation, I have Sara Mateo, that is also from the European Business Unit and the Entrepreneurship Knowledge Area Leader, and Javier Uranga, that is Innovation Consultant and an expert in exploitation and project exploitation manager. Outside the Zabara Innovation, we have today the luck to have with us Dr. Miriam Moses Ruiz from Universidad Pública de Navarra, that is the European Research Council grantee that we had the chance to support in successfully achieving an ERC starting grant in the 2022 call, and that will later tell us about her successful story. Entering into the agenda that we have for today, just a quick summary. We will start by making a very brief introduction to both programs that we want to focus today, but we will enter very quickly into the key insights on both programs, the ERC and the EIC Pathfinder, trying to provide a clear overview of the funding opportunities that both present, and highlighting both the common ground between them, but also those key features and aspects that differentiate one from the other. We will count with 2 real cases, 2 success stories in each program, the aforementioned ERC success case of Dr. Miriam Moses, her cell ADT project, and later we will also have the opportunity to hear about the MetaBrain project success case in the EIC Pathfinder. After this overview of both programs, we will try to close with a final overview of which would be the best options for your idea, your project, and some key conclusions and next steps or funding opportunities that you will find in the next months. And at the end, we will dedicate those several minutes to the question and answer session, collect any doubts, and try to shed some light in your questions. Well, just very briefly, also let me, let me just briefly talk to you a little bit more about this, the knowledge areas that we are here today. On one side, the Science and Education Knowledge Area is a knowledge area very focused in supporting opportunities on the programs that you can see in the slide. For example, the European Research Council, of course, but also other Pillar 1 opportunities as the Maria Slobodowska Reactions, Research Infrastructures, Erasmus+, and other opportunities very focused in the science and educational part of the research. And on the other hand, we have the Entrepreneurship Knowledge Area Leader here, that is a knowledge area very focused in supporting entities to bring the results into market, where we have a large track record in planning customers R&D activities, applying to EIC opportunities, but also, for example, Eurostars grants. And here we have also coordinated exploitation activities in more than 30 European collaborative projects. We are part of, or we're integrated in the whole Zabara innovation structure, and in our continuous work focused on the European public funding of projects. Just as some big numbers, we have already supported over 700 proposals only in the 2021 to 2024 Horizon Europe timeframe, with success rates reaching the 40%, and over 75 proposals supported specifically in ERC and in EIC Pathfinder programs in the current Horizon Europe framework. We also provide project assistance and project management support to more than 500 projects in the same period. And this has allowed also Tavalla Innovation to achieve a privileged EU-wide positioning with more than 130 own EU projects and studies, from which we are currently working on 74 live projects. And only in Horizon Europe framework, this has translated into more than 370 proposals adopted with over 480 million euros return to our clients. With this great positioning as key players also in several of the most relevant European platforms and initiatives in multiple sectors and industries. Entering into the topic today, our focus is in CHUSA programs that are both part of the Horizon Europe program. Horizon Europe program is the main EU funding framework in this period 2021 to 2027. And we have today CHUSA programs that, as you can see, are very apart from each other in the Horizon Europe structure. On one side, in the pillar 1, in the pillar of excellent science, we have the European Research Council program. This is the premier European funding organization. The European Research Council is the principal organization for funding excellent frontier research. And it's focused in funding creative researchers of any nationality and age to run projects based across Europe. For that, Horizon Europe allocated already from the very beginning 16 billion euros for this specific program. On the other side, in the pillar 3, that is called Innovative Europe, so with a very different focus from the very beginning, we have the European Innovation Council that overall allocates 10.1 billion euros for the whole timeline. And it's the Europe's flagship innovation program that is focused in identifying, developing, and letting other researchers and innovators to scale up breakthrough technologies and deliver game-changing innovations in Europe. It's very important to stress that the EIC Pathfinder program that we will focus today is just a part of this EIC program. Well, we'll start talking about the European Research Council program specifically, and for that we will focus on 2 key topics. First, we'll talk about the ERC as this beacon for scientific excellence and frontier research. And second, we will try to provide a general overview, a comprehensive overview of the key features of the program, of the criteria to understand if the project and the researcher are eligible and competitive, especially for this ERC granting scheme. Well, the European Research Council main mission is, in their own words, is to encourage the highest quality research in Europe. For that, they provide very competitive funding, and their main aim at the end of the day is to support investigator-driven frontier research across all fields based on the scientific excellence. As we can already see, this program directly comes from the excellent science pillar 1, and this excellence is pervasive to all the program. We want to stress here the fact that the European Research Council is governed by an independent scientific council, which defines the strategy and the scientific methodology, and this independence is also key to understand the very same nature of the program. In the European Research Council, as we have already been talking, scientific excellence is everything, or is the most important part, up to the point of being the sole evaluation criteria in the whole program, and this is a differentiating part of with respect to any other sub-program in Horizon Europe. Thus, these scientific excellence projects that ERC is seeking to fund must be based on, first, ideas, but ideas that are individual in the sense that they must come from the PI, the candidate, the principal investigator. They must be innovative, as they should run away from incremental approaches or obvious continuation of open research lines. They must be very ambitious. They should aim at tackling a big scientific challenge, and they should also be disruptive. They should present the potential of opening new research lines or fields, providing better understanding of great questions. As such, an ERC idea must be understood as one that is expected to expand the frontiers of knowledge. When thinking about an ERC project, the final outputs or the final results should lead to new and unpredictable scientific and technological discoveries. And these results of the ERC project can potentially translate in the future into the basis or the cornerstone of even new industries, new markets, or social innovations for that future. The focus and another key differentiating aspect is that ERC is supporting and funding creative researchers of any nationality and age, understanding that the principal investigator is the center of the ERC idea. Considering the above mentioned, ERC do not define or divide opportunities in predetermined topics, so it follows a bottom-up approach, but understanding that nowadays most projects require a multi or interdisciplinary nature to solve these big challenges. Finally, and also an important remark, is that the evaluation of ERC proposals is made by peer review panels composed of internationally renowned scientists. So we will be talking to experts in the field that speak our language. That is also a differentiating point in the ERC program with respect to any other Horizon Europe opportunity. Essentially, an ERC proposal is thus based in 3 key aspects, all of them with their corresponding relevance. First, the research project. This can be based on basic and applied, but always with a focus on the R of R&D, is research projects. There is, in any case, not a single type of project that can be submitted to ERC grants, as this could go from, for example, multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary proposals that cross boundaries between fields of research, maybe pioneering proposals in new and emerging fields of research, or non-conventional approaches that give rise to disruptive scientific innovations. Second, the principal investigator. ERC is a PI-centric program that puts in value the creativity, the original thinking, and the capacity to conduct groundbreaking research of the PI, regardless their career stage, and putting in context their expertise, their curriculum vitae, and their capacity to lead. Putting in context this expertise of the PI means that the PIs with the longest and most packed curriculum vitae will not necessarily be the ones funded, but those PI that demonstrate they are the best fit for the specific job, the ERC project that they are proposing. In any case, this does not mean that the PI will be alone, of course. Research projects are a teamwork, and as such, ERC funding provides this funding to establish or support the team needed to carry out the research. Finally, an ERC project must be carried out in a host institution that should be already identified at proposal level, following the basic criteria of being established in a member state of the EU or an associated country, and guaranteeing they will be able to and have put all the needed resources to host and support the principal investigator for the duration of the project. After having this quick overview of the ERC program, we would like to briefly explain the different ERC main grants that the program defines and open regularly. This can be divided in 4 different grants, namely the starting, consolidator, advanced, and synergy grants. First, starting grants are grants of up to 1.5 million euros for 5 years that are focusing those PIs that are aiming at starting their own independent research team or program. It's dedicated to PIs with between 2 and 7 years of experience after PhD and require a PI commitment on time of at least 50% of their whole dedication. These PIs should then already show evidence of potential for research independence. Moving to the consolidator grants, the next stage in the ERC program, these are grants of 2 million euros for these 5 years of research and are focusing on those researchers that are consolidating their own independent research team or program. So they are maybe in between 7 to 12 years of experience after the PhD. The PI commitment requires 40% of the whole dedication, and these PIs should have already shown this evidence of research independence. It is not here about potential, it's already about showing the evidence of this independence. Finally, for the individual grants, we have the advanced grants that are lump sum grants of up to 2.5 million euros for the same 5 years, and they are destined to develop a new and outstanding project as part of the research line or research career of established research leaders with already a very well-recognized track record. The PI commitment, the minimum should be 30%, and these are focused for active researchers with this very long track record and very significant research achievements, let's say like leaders of their research field. Finally, we have a specific ERC grant that are the synergy grants, that are grants of up to 10 million euros for 6 years. But in this case, they are very focused on jointly addressing ambitious research problems, and for that, they require the coordinated work of a small group of between 2 and 4 principal investigators. These principal investigators can be at any career stage. They can identify themselves with any of the stages of the starting, consolidator, or advanced grant schemes. Their minimum commitment is 30%, and they should display competitive track records as appropriate to their career stage. There are some common criteria for all these grants. For example, the minimum 50% of PI should be working, minimum time of 50% of the PI should be working in the EU member state or associated country. There's the opportunity to ask for additional funding depending on several criteria. that you can see there. And there's also some extension scalability window that can extend those limitations of time to us for the ERC main grants based on maternity, paternity leaves, long-term illness, disability, clinical training, major disasters, or PI seeking asylum. Finally, we'd also like to highlight a specific opportunity that adds up to the main grants previously mentioned, and that the ERC includes to further support already funded ERC projects, which are the ERC proof of concept grants. These are lump sum grants of 150,000 euros for a specific project of 18 months, and they are focused on the innovation potential of an ERC idea that should be taken to proof of concept as part of this project. These are specific actions that want to assess this innovation potential, and for that, and as mentioned, these are mainly addressing existing projects of ERC grant holders that want to bring the research ideas closer to market. Finally, we have been talking about grant amounts, but we need to talk about the very attractive funding that the ERC offers. ERC grants fund the totality, the 100% of the total eligible cost of the research, plus a 25% contribution towards indirect costs. For that, the funding requested must be fully justified by an estimation of the real project cost that must be carried out at proposal level according to a set or division of cost categories that we can see here, that are the direct personnel costs, costs for personnel for carrying out the project, purchase costs that can be divided in several categories, but they can include travel and subsistence costs, equipment costs, consumables, the cost of publishing results, dissemination, etc. And they also foresee the allocation of subcontracting costs or other specific costs such as internal invoices. And once we have provided this overview, I'm very happy now to give the floor to Dr. Miriam Moses, so she can talk to us about her project Salinity and a success story of an ERC project awarded with an starting grant in the 2022 call of the ERC program. So Miriam, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Herman. Well, so I am one of the investigators. I got an ERC grant some years ago. The name of the project, it was called Salinity, and it has to do with plant pathology. So in my lab nowadays, we work with a fungus called Magnaporthia oryzae, and the project was funded mainly as well because Magnaporthia oryzae is a threat to global food security. So it destroys 30% of the rice production, which is enough rice to feed 60 million people in the world in a single year. And it also affects other caloric crops such as wheat, barley, etc. So the why of the project is that this fungus is a complex fungus and is really rapid in generating new disease. So in the fields, in just 24 hours, it's able to produce more than 50,000 spores a day. And they are clonal, they are identical. So the whole project is embraced into the molecular biology. And that identity, that the spores are identical, it was a key concept. Those spores as well, when they land on the surface of that leaf, they have a genetic program and they always behave in the same way. And they are able to develop the infection structure by which the fungus is able to cause infection. So the why of the project was that both the spore and the infection structure were key points for the fungus to cause infection. So if we can understand at the molecular level how the fungus causes disease, then we can provide solutions. And the project, the how of the project was to really look at all those molecular mechanisms, as the title says, in a multidisciplinary approach by really frontier technologies such as chemical genetics, single-cell RNA-seq, genetics, biology, plant pathology, etc. Yes, so the positives of having an ERC grant, I'm sure there are more than these, but these are the key 6 for me. For me, one of the most exciting things was that you are able to really develop a really cool idea that otherwise in other programs is not funded. You are able to build up a laboratory and a team. In my case, I just relocated from the UK, so I was able to really have a new lab and I am able to, with the ERC, to hire 5 new members for the lab. You really can strengthen your research program, and you can define a new area of research. You really are carrying exciting science. So this cool idea that you have in your mind, this is one of the programs you are able to use to execute it. And there is a positive as well is about the flexibility. So these grants also help you, if the research is going through one direction, you can really adjust the funding to cover any sort of side unplanned areas that they were there. And also it's a very prestigious project and opens lots of opportunities in terms of collaborations, public exposure, etc. And there are some difficulties, of course, especially during the preparation of the project. In my opinion, one of the most difficult ones was to really balance the feasibility of the project versus the risk. So it needs to be a risky project, but you need to really be thoughtful and really give it a think. How feasible could it be? Giving the shape to the idea was also challenging in my view, because you might have a really good idea, but you really have to concentrate all of your thoughts and really come up with a really strong and thoughtful plan. In terms of the writing itself, it's a bit of a challenge because of the space of the proposal. This is a bit unusual because you have 2 sides of the project, one which is 5 pages long, 10 pages long. So you really have to be very precise on what you want to say and how you want to say it. So it becomes really clear for your panel, which is reviewing your idea. Also coming from the writing, I think it is difficult a bit to decide how deep to go on the concepts. Which things you need to put on, which things you don't have to include. And so it's sufficient enough to give an explanation and you are not really divagating into your narrative. Again, especially for B1, which is very short, you need to really show how cool your idea is in a very precise way, and there isn't much of a space in there. And of course, the last one is identifying really the contingency plans, what difficulties the project will have, and really how would you tackle them, and really come with a very, very strong contingency plan for your project to show that that feasibility risk is really contemplated by the PI. And I think this is the part I want to collaborate with in this webinar.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you very much for sharing with us your story. Hopefully, we had the chance to overcome all these difficulties and see that it is possible to get ERC funding. Miriam is a great example. Thank you very much, Miriam. And after providing you with this overview of ERC program, I would like to give the floor now to my colleague, Sara Mateo. Sara.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and before I continue with the EIC Pathfinder, well, the idea is to solve questions at the end, but we have a question for Miriam, and I think that Miriam has to leave earlier. So if you don't mind, we will solve this now. Okay, so, well, a question with several questions inside. So Miriam, interesting project from one of the attendees, Patel Ites. Thanks for the insights. What do you think was a key aspect of the project that excited the reviewers?
Yeah, I think several ones. I think first, the topic has to have an importance. I think that was key as well, as I mentioned. I think it was a very, I used to call it the crazy idea. So it has to be like quite creative, I think. I think my brain was quite creative, and I do not think, and the key point was the question I wanted to answer, which I think it was never looked in that way, the system itself. So I came up with new question, because with the technology you could answer several things, right? But I think I give it an extra turn there, and I said, actually, you know, we don't know anything about this. So I think that was key, coming with a turning question that no one thought about, I think.
Okay, thank you. On two more questions from this attendee. How long did it take you to build the proposal, and how critical is the team?
Okay, how long it took me to build a proposal? I think I was really lucky because I had like a really downtime in the work, so I could focus really into the writing. It took me like 16 weeks full on it. I think I invested a lot of time. I think full on around 16 weeks. And the second question was, how critical was the team? Well, in my case, I was a solo researcher. So I came alone from the UK. So you just have to, when you design your project, you need to ask, you can have 0 people right next to you to write this proposal. What is critical is that whatever you assign to the newcomers to the project, it needs to be feasible, and it has to have a chronological order, sensible order. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. And well, we will continue with the rest of the questions at the end, but for the moment, it's okay. Thank you, Miriam.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I continue now with the EIC Pathfinder. We changed a bit. We will revise the main call, the EIC Pathfinder Open, and also we will finish with a comparison between EIC Pathfinder Open and another track that we have in EIC Pathfinder, that it's the challenges one. Okay, but let's start with the EIC Pathfinder Open. So the aim of this call is to fund research, but now not research for research, but to develop something, a scientific basis that in the long run can result on a new technology, on a new breakthrough technology with a specific application or purpose. It really funds the earliest stages of research. We are in the range of TRL 1 to TRL 4. And this is really based on a high risk, high gain approach. Why? Because this is high risk because we are in a very low TRLs. This is an idea, a crazy idea that perhaps is not successful after some work of research. But if this is successful, the impact, the benefit for society, for Europe, can be huge. So there is a high risk, a high gain potential. And also, it's a main difference, perhaps, with ERC, is that it is for an ambitious vision for a new technology that can result on a product, on something that can really create a new market or address a global challenge. So we are solving something at the end with this research. So in the long term, it has a social purpose or an economy purpose that we have to have in mind from the beginning of our idea. And in terms of applicants, who can apply here? Well, this is for collaborative projects. We need at least 3 legal entities from 3 different countries. And at least one of these entities must be based in a member state. The rest can be in a member state or an associated country. If we see the kind of entities, we will see that most of the funded projects have consortia of academic profiles. Mainly universities and research organizations are in this consortia, but it's also very relevant and welcome to include in this group of entities the SMEs, startups, industrial representatives. Why? Because as we mentioned, this is the final purpose of our initial research is to reach the market, bring a solution to the society. So it's important to see that there are interested partners, interested in the exploitation, interested in this path to market. And finally, the group of entities should be complementary, cover different areas of expertise. So they look for an interdisciplinarity. Okay. And more key features that we should consider when preparing a proposal in this call. Important to demonstrate that even if this will be brought to the market later, we should have a kind of strategy or plan about how we would like to protect the IP, which kind of regulatory measures we will need to address, certification, etc. So this is a research project, but look at these kind of things also. Good points, positive points also for your proposal: to involve early career researchers and promising SMEs and startups. Also to give a relevant position to female researchers in your work package structure. So if they can lead part of the work, it's really welcome. And also important, this is public funding, so it's good also to have scientific publications in open access. Okay. And which kind of support you can receive if you apply to this call? Well, this is really good because there is a grant, 100% funding your costs of the project, and you can request up to 3 million euros for more or less a duration of 3-4 years of project. And for this year, for 2025, there is a total of 142 millions allocated for this call. It means that around 48 projects will be funded, more or less. And in addition to this grant, there are also other kind of benefits. One of them is the access to business acceleration services. So it gives you an idea again of the interest they have on how you will reach the market at some point. And also you can request during your execution of the project, you can request extra grants of up to 50,000 euros to subcontract some kind of activities related to commercialization, etc. Well, and now, very briefly, EIC Pathfinder challenge. More or less the approach is the same, few differences, and one of the main differences is that this is not for any topic in the world. This is for specific priorities that the European Innovation Council defines every year. For the call this year, we have 4 and are the following: biotech for climate resilient crops and plant-based biomanufacturing, generative AI-based agents to revolutionize medical diagnosis and treatment of cancer, towards autonomous robot collectives delivering collaborative tasks in dynamic and structured construction environments, and the last one, waste to value devices, circular production of renewable fuels, chemicals, and materials. All of them have similar budgets allocated, 30 million euros. So it means that around 8 projects could be funded in its priority. And to finalize, a comparison between the both tracks, open versus challenge. Well, the first difference is the budget. A bit more money allocated for the open track, 142 millions. A bit less for challenges, but the challenges is a good opportunity, because if you fit well in a challenge, you have less competition. So even if there is less money, the chances of success can be higher. Then the budget is a bit different also, up to 3 million euros in the open track, 4 million in the challenge one. Both of them are 100% funded. The deadline is also a bit different. If you see your project for the open track, you should start working now. No, there's not so much time to wait. But if you see your fit in a challenge, you still have time to develop the idea. It will close at the end of October. The pages of the proposals is less than in a Horizon Europe proposal. For the open track, 20 pages, and for the challenge, 30 pages. There are a few more questions related to the challenges that you have to address. And finally, in terms of applicants, for the Pathfinder Open, we already mentioned 3 partners from 3 countries. And for the challenge, it's a bit different, because you have the option of applying alone as a single entity or as a consortia, a small consortia of 2 partners from 2 countries, or 3 or more partners with at least 3 countries. In this case, it's possible to go alone, but have in mind that if you go alone in a proposal, you should be able to demonstrate that you have all the expertise and capacity to carry out the project. If there is any doubt, it's better to collaborate. Okay, I think that collaboration is always a positive point. And I finish here. I give the floor now to my colleague Javier Uranga, that will present a success case in this call.
Yes, so good afternoon, everyone. Yes, so now I'm going to present not as a consultant from Zabala, but as a partner point of view in a European project, in an EIC Pathfinder, which is the MetaBrain project. The MetaBrain project, or magnetoelectric and ultrasonic technology for advanced brain modulation project, aims to achieve precise spatiotemporal control and brain activity through the use of remote of magnets and or ultrasound. So the aim is to use 2 different types of technology in order to monitor the brain activity. This project was funded under the EIC Pathfinder Open Call in 2023 and started last year. So we have been running it for a little bit more than 1 year. It's almost 3 million euros and 7 partners. Here you have the partners, which are 5 beneficiaries, 1 affiliated entity, and 1 associated partner, which in our case is the Swiss partners from 88 Zurich. Just to remember that from this year, Swiss partners go inside the consortium as full beneficiaries, so their budget is included in the global one, just to have you in mind. And well, the main objectives, as I said before, we have these 2 technologies. So one objective is to develop, test, and validate nanostructure with magnetoelectric properties to modulate brain activity and assess their effectiveness and regulating cortical activity. So one side is magnets, and the other is investigating brain stimulation using novel devices that use ultrasound, analyzing their effects on brain activity. Those technologies, and then the last one is designing devices for precise measurement of brain activity and developing computational techniques to better understand brain electromagnetic fields. So here, all the application are is very important. About the main advantages and main pains, some of them are similar to the ones found in an ERC. Main advantage is funding to research in breakthrough innovations, high risk, which are difficult to find other way. So, and this gives really juicy funding now to work on it. Also, not to work alone, but to collaborate with a multidisciplinary team. No, so as Sarah said before, it's this program promotes early or young researchers to become leaders of this novel technology that is being developed, and promote exchanges from the different institutions that are participating to acquire knowledge, methodology, and bring them back to and share all this knowledge among all the partners. And at the same time that are capacitating them to continue evolving the technology. In this line now, as we have this very market-oriented program, is the Pathfinder, they know that researchers usually may lack this this mindset. They provide different acceleration services, different capacity programs in order to give this point of view and to capacitate the researchers in all the needs that they may have in order to bring the technology in the future to the market if they are interested. This is mostly always thinking as well in young researchers, but usually maybe the PIs already have their own academic career, but with this program, usually they give the chance to young researchers to see if they want to go one way or the other. And also they have access to different acceleration services, and the possibility to unlock new funding. It's a really well-known program, so to EIC Transition or the Hop On scheme is, or the EIC Boosters program that mentioned before by Sarah. And main difficulty is a very competitive goal, so most of the applicants never achieve it at the first time. So you are starting, just for you to know that you are competing with others, but that has been applied for several times. But on the other hand, it's good because your proposal is being reviewed by top experts, not only from the technical point of view, but also for the business side, which helps you to improve your design of the project. So in our case, for example, in this process was not approved at the first time, as the evaluator questioned some capabilities about the nanoparticles, which allow us to create to show more data, but also to include a new partner to try to cover that lack that they identify. And as with the ERC, the space of the proposal, as here we are not only focusing on the excellence, which still is the one with highest value, but we also need to cover the impact as well as the implementation. So this is everything about this project. And now just I put my hat as a consultant, just to say main conclusions about the EIC or ERC. So which of them you should go. So when deciding, it's important to answer these 4 questions. First, what is the primary goal of the project? Is it to reveal a scientific mystery or purpose a new paradigm? Then it aligns with the ERC. If it is to engineer a functional prototype or envision a product with a societal and market impact, then you should go to the EIC Pathfinder. Also, what is the expected outcome? ERC projects generally result in paradigm shifting and knowledge and scientific publications. EIC, we also ask for scientific publications, but it's more focused on proof of concept of prototypes or technological advances that can evolve into practical applications. And who needs to be involved? ERC, typically led by single principal investigators with their support of the hosting institution and their team, while EIC Pathfinder projects require more interdisciplinary and usually collaborate with others. Even though for the challenge you can go alone, it's not the best way, and in this case usually you cannot go as with your department, but you need to go with some other department of your institution, especially the technology transfer office. And what is the risk and reward? Well, both programs are embraced now. Risk and represent the main funding examples of cutting-edge research. No? But, well, ERC is more focused on intellectual risk and conceptual challenges of the state of the art. No? Well, Pathfinder emphasizes more in technological market risks, no? Seeking on the feasibility and application, no? To bridge the valley of technology development. And well, here just to finish, well, both programs are bottom-up approach. For the EIC, we also have the challenge. Both are ambitious risk, high risk project with low TRL. So as they are low TRL, but we need to have the long-term vision and impact. And then some specificities, ERC, scientific disruption, expanding the frontiers of knowledge. Researchers is the start, it's CV, experience, and excellence is the only criterion. Next deadlines are for advancing in the 28th of August, but for the starting synergy and consolidator still are not closed, those dates. And for the EIC, great potential for innovation and the proof of principle, this market-oriented result, multidisciplinary project, excellence, impact, and implementation needs to be assessed. Still, the most important one is the excellence, but also the other two need to be covered, and the deadlines for the 21st of May at the challenge to the 29th of October. So this is everything we wanted to show. If you are thinking on preparing a proposal, from Zabala, we have quite experience in supporting these programs, and we can offer different services depending on your needs, no? From the whole supporting the whole proposal to punctual reviews, or which are the needs of the researchers. So yeah, it's everything. If you want to make some questions.
Okay, yeah, we have some questions, so I will go through them. The first one is about advanced grants, so this is for Herman, I think. Since the PI is unique, single, the funding can be used to pay the other team members. In this line, can you include a company within your team members?
Okay. Yeah. First, regarding the first part of the question, yes, the funding of ERC, regardless if it's advanced or any other grant, is aimed at funding the personnel efforts, and for that it means any needed research team that you need to build or to support for the research project. So personnel efforts, personnel salaries are included as part of these personnel costs. When we talk about companies collaboration, we should, I mean, it's a case-by-case basis. We should assess every case, but it might enter as part of the subcontracting costs that are also eligible in ERC, depending if that company provides a very specific service, or maybe they can be included as direct, I mean, other goods or other works or other services that can be included as those direct costs. Normally, the personnel costs are focused on the research team. That's the first thing that we must consider. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next one. Well, thanks for the presentation. What is the success rate in these schemes? And this is for me because they mentioned me. So EIC Pathfinder, the success rate is low, is a competitive call. For the open track is in the period 2021 to 2024. The success rate for the open track was 6.4%. And for the challenges, it's a bit higher. This is around the 10.1%. Okay, how many partners are recommended for a Pathfinder Challenge project? Well, as you have seen, it can be a single applicant. This is possible, but I wouldn't recommend this in most of the cases. I think that collaboration among entities is positive, and more or less the average consortium should be around 6 entities. I think that in the case of Javier's success case, it was 7, right? So yeah, there's not a limitation there, but good to have different profiles, collaborating. Next one. Exploitation approach in these calls is similar to the regular or Horizon Europe calls. In that case, to include standardization activities in the proposals is also very advisable as a pathway to reach the market. Perhaps if you don't mind, Javier, I think that this is for you, because you know about it.
Yes, for the exploitation it's very important in an EIC Pathfinder, as it's the only way to assess the impact, or how do you expect to reach the market. Everything also you have to take into account that we are leading new technologies, developing breakthrough technologies that probably they are still not regulation, there is not a standard. So, and you are the researchers developing this are becoming the leaders of this technology. So yes, for sure, this thing, being able to create a standard. I mean, of course, we have to see in which status we are now, because maybe it's not possible. We are just developing a proof of principle, but it's good to start thinking or establish a path in order to develop these standards in the future if everything goes as planned.
Thank you. And the next one is also for you. Hi, Javier. Great project. Was this funded because there was something ground changing here that was not possible via current approaches?
Yes, for sure. I mean, as this project, EIC and ERC, both of them need to be game changing. No, you cannot propose any incremental. You need to propose something, a crazy idea that you have in your mind, that maybe you don't have still validated the data or make some proof of principle. No, this project is to start validating and make this proof of principle. There is no still, I mean, this is the focus. No, you don't need to create new. It's not to increment some technology or to, but to do something completely new.
Thank you, Javi. Okay, so perhaps we can solve a couple more of questions, and if still we have questions, we will reply by email. So, well, now one about the evaluation process in Pathfinder, how it works. There are 3 main criteria in this kind of in this case of proposals: the excellence part, the impact, and the quality and efficiency of the implementation. This is similar to other Horizon Europe projects, but here the important thing is that the weight of the excellence part is 60%. So this is the most important part in EIC Pathfinder. It will be revised by different kind of evaluators, 4 evaluators. So comparing with ERC, where the revision is done by peer reviewers, here we have to also consider that it can be evaluated by different profiles. Yeah, and this is the main thing I would say. Okay, and last question for Germán. For ERC Consolidator, how is the evidence of research independence measured?
That's a very good question. There have been some steps recently by the European Research Council trying to evaluate this independence, not understood as the longest your curriculum vitae is, but mainly how have you demonstrated that you are capable of carrying out the project. That's why I'm trying to steer this question to the, I would say you have to demonstrate that you are independent to carry out the project that you are proposing. You are not expected, maybe even at a consolidator grant level, to demonstrate that you can carry out the whole project by your own. This is not what independence means for ERC. It is not about demonstrating that you have carried out excellent work only in the past. It is about demonstrating that you have the whole expertise and you are well surrounded to independently carry out the project that you are proposing. Effectively, what this means that you have to demonstrate or propose 10 main research outputs at this point that are directly related, that come from your previous work, of course, and that are directly related to the project that you are proposing. That's the main way they are currently evaluating independence, demonstrating that you have 10 relevant research outputs that are directly related to what you are proposing and that can naturally show that you have already gathered at least the required expertise to start that project.
Perfect. Thank you, Germán. Well, few remaining questions, but we will solve them offline. Okay. And now, well, I think that it's time to say thank you to all the panelists, mainly to our invited speaker, Miriam Moses. Thank you for joining us today and presenting this success case. I think that it's good to hear it from from the person that is directly involved in this kind of projects. And well, I hope it has been helpful for all the potential applicants to these calls. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.